Okay, you might think I really deserve to lose this all in. You might think I deserve to get my aces cracked, but let me give you a little background. There was a hand last year in WinStar. My first card dealt to me kind of flashed. I saw it. I saw it was an ace. It never actually turned face up, but on the way to me from the dealer, it did flash. I knew it was an ace. No one else saw it, by the way. And the dealer like kind of paused whether to call it a misdeal, because it was the second card off the deck. One of the first two cards off the deck, if they flash as a misdeal, the third or later, you just replace it. So she kind of paused, and I said, no one saw it, just keep going. I did not do this just because it was an ace. I would have done this even if it were a deuce, and I can prove it to you. Earlier this year at Venetian, something kind of similar happened. A card was dealt to me. Now, if it's the dealer's fault, you get a replacement card if it flips up. It was not the dealer's fault. The card was thrown to me, it was still on the table, and when I reached for it, I flipped it up by accident. It was an ace. So, even though it was my fault, like I shouldn't get a replacement, but because it's such a strong card, the dealer wanted to like maybe see if I could play it. So she says she'll call the floor. Well, sometimes at Venetian, you're like very far away from where the podiums are, or there's no floor in sight. So my biggest concern is not wasting time at the tables. So I didn't want to waste time. Everyone's looking around for a floor, even other players were kind of like sympathetic that it was an ace and maybe I should get to play it, even though it was my fault that it flipped up. People are looking around for a floor. We don't see a floor anywhere near us. I just didn't want to slow the game down. So when there was no floor anywhere close, I didn't think I would get to keep it anyway. But even when there's no floor anywhere close to us, I just said, just call it dead. It's all right. Just fold the hand. Everyone, just keep playing. I didn't care that it was an ace. If you're wondering, the other card was a queen. Okay, ace queen, strong hand, would have played it, but I really didn't want to slow the game down, especially when it was going to take forever for a floor just to walk over. That should prove to you that I didn't care in WinStar that the card that flashed was an ace. I just didn't want a misdeal and a redeal because that would have wasted time. Well, I got stacked that hand in WinStar last year. I was the big blind. There were a bunch of limps. I raised in the big blind. Some people called. The flop was 8-6-3. The small blind led out. I raised. A lot of the lead outs are 8s, top pair. So I thought he had an 8 in his hand. He led out, I raised, we went heads up to the turn. All I don't want to see on the turn is another 8. That would have stopped me from continuing to bet. If he happens to hit his 2 pair, if he has 10-8 and the turn is a 10, so be it. I'm not going to see that one coming, but I will see the trip 8s coming. The turn is a 9, and we got all in on that turn card, and he had 9-6. He called my raise pre-flop with 9-6 offsuit. He led the flop with second pair. He called my raise on the flop, and he turned exactly what he wanted. And we got all in. I did not improve going to the river, and I lost my stack that hand. So that's what happened. If you believe in karma and you think that I only said keep dealing because I knew my first card was going to be an ace, then all that makes sense to you. But I can assure you that no matter what that first card was, I was going to say keep dealing just to save time, even though it turns out that I got all in with a very strong hand, drawing pretty thin, did not improve, and lost my entire stack.
Yeah, I got it at the stadium in May.